We are waiting with bated breath for Stranger Things to make its next season debut, but at the very least, it is still months away. What do you do in the meantime, though? We took a look at shows to watch while waiting for Stranger Things Season 4 release in 2022. We hope that the shows help with the waiting process. Fear Street. The Fear Street trilogy, which has been immensely popular on Netflix since the first film, has proven once and for all that nostalgia always wins the battle. Aliens in the Attic is based on the novel series by R.L. Stine, and it is set in the fictional town of Shadyside, Ohio, which has been afflicted by a famously wicked power for ages. All three stories take place in a separate year, but they tie their respective timelines together, and the common thread is that it is always up to the kids to track down the killer and put an end to the reign of terror in the neighborhood. The Fear Street movies are in some ways darker and campier than Stranger Things, in a good way though, but they're also influenced by classic horror films, such as The Exorcist and The Exorcist II. The first two films, which are focused around the years 1994 and 1978, are reminiscent of famous slasher films such as Scream and Friday the 13th, which film buffs will appreciate pointing out to anybody they're watching these flicks with. As an added treat, Sadie Sink, who plays Stranger Things' Max's Mayfield, appears in both 1978 and 1666. Dark. When I think of shows like Stranger Things, Dark is usually one of the first series that comes to me as a precursor to the show. The German science fiction thriller tells the story of a youngster who goes missing in a small imaginary community and is never seen again. However, as a result of the disappearance of this youngster, multiple plots are discovered, each of which may be traced back to several generations of family members in some cases. For those who haven't seen Dark yet, it's one of those shows that will most likely leave you scratching your head in bemusement at first. There are just so many twists and turns that it might be difficult to keep track of everything. Nonetheless, it is a terrific and really intriguing show, and for lovers of Stranger Things, it will undoubtedly satisfy their desire for anything a little otherworldly in their lives once again. Lock and Key. Lock and Key is the third series produced by IDW Entertainment, and it is based on the comic book of the same name. While the series as a whole has a diverse range of tones, you could easily argue that it has something to appeal to a wide range of audiences, from its vibrant fantasy components to the dark undertones of the overarching tale, not to mention the presence of kids with superpowers. In the near future, we may expect to see even more of Lock and Key on the big screen. After their father, Rendell Locke, is brutally murdered, the three Locke siblings, Bode, Tyler, and Kinsey, return to their ancestral home in order to rebuild their lives. Having discovered three magical keys of great power, the Locke children must harness the might of the keys to take a stand against an evil entity that desires the keys for his own wicked plans. Warrior Nun. In the film Warrior Nun, a sheltered adolescent named Ava, played by Alba Baptista, awakens in a morgue with unexplained powers and finds herself thrust into the center of an ancient battle between good and evil. During her journey, Ava comes into contact with the Order of the Cruciform Sword, a hidden group of warrior nuns dedicated to defending the globe from evil. After being picked as the Chosen One, Ava begrudgingly embraces her duties as the Chosen One, all while trying to maintain her normal life as a teenage girl who is rediscovering the world around her. Warrior Nun is filled with mystery, action, adventure, and romance, but it also contains a surprising number of twists and unexpected situations. In addition to featuring a diverse cast of characters, which includes Toya Turner as Shotgun Mary, Lorena Andrea as Sister Lilith, Christina Tonteri Young as the role of Sister Beatrice, and Olivia Delkin in the role of Sister Camilla, the show receives bonus points for representing the LGBTQI+ community. As Ava's new friend Chanel, trans model May Simone Lifshitz, was a delight to witness in her role as a trans woman. October Faction. October Faction is an American supernatural drama streaming television series produced by Damian Kindler and based on the comic book series of the same name by Steve Niles and Damian Worm. The series premiered on Netflix on October 1st, 2018. Tamara Taylor, J.C. McKenzie, Aurora Berghart, Gabriel Darku, Wendy Cruson, Megan Follows, and Stephen McHattie appear in the series, which premiered on ABC in 2008. One of those Netflix series that you come across by chance and wonder why you haven't heard of it before. October October Faction is one of those shows. Fred and Dolores Allen are your typical suburban parents, except that they also moonlight as hunters of the supernatural, working for a secret organization known as Presidio, which they have never heard of. It was intended for their twin children, Joff and Vive, to remain in the dark about their parents' secret in order to protect them, but when their double existence is discovered, it becomes a family affair. It's the Americans meets Supernatural meets the chilling adventures of Sabrina, and it's excellent for individuals who can't decide between a thriller and a family drama on their television. The series was terminated after one season, which occurred in March 2020. Westworld. Based on the 1973 film of the same name, Westworld is set in a near-futuristic future, where, because of technology breakthroughs, anything is possible. Immersive theme parks have been established for wealthy clients who want to travel to the Wild West and enjoy the sights and sounds of the region. Humanoid robots that act and speak like humans are the major attraction. Unfortunately, the majority of the clients enjoy murdering, mutilating, and raping the hosts, humanoid robots. They get away with anything since the victims aren't humans. They have no repercussions for their conduct. When one of the androids gains consciousness, things go awry, resulting in a final conflict between humans and hosts. What is the line between far and too far? What do we mean when we say rape? You'll find yourself wrestling with these hard topics that have no right answers by the end of the first season. Westworld does a fantastic job of grabbing your attention right away with its interesting plotline and enormous scale. From the moment you see the massive theme park, you realize Westworld will be unlike any other modern soap opera. The OA. When it comes to cancellations, the OA's cancellation generated quite a stir online. That should tell you everything there is to know about the strength and quality of this weird Netflix original. The OA is undoubtedly strange, and its mystery succeeds in keeping you riveted to the screen, waiting to see what happens next. The major plot is around Prairie, a missing blind girl who returns home. She's currently in her 20s and has had her sight restored for no apparent reason. From there, the show expands and adds more intrigue, resulting in 2 seasons of incredibly captivating television. Unfortunately, the second season's final episode ends on a cliffhanger, which could make or break your experience. The OA, on the other hand, excels in terms of mood and suspense. Black Spot. Hawkins is important to the Stranger Things story because it is home to the Upside Down, the other reality where all the monsters that have kept our heroes in fighting shape for 3 seasons reside. The secluded tiny village at the core of the French-Belgian thriller Black Spot, known in France as Zone Blanche, is just as vital to the story as the main character, but in far creepier ways. The show follows a prosecutor who arrives in town to look into why the town has such a high murder rate. But what he, and we, quickly discover is that the forest surrounding the town is full of dark secrets, all of which are linked to the local police chief who's still trying to figure out what happened to her the night she was kidnapped and chained up in said forest. Black Spot is a suspenseful and atmospheric thriller that masterfully blends mythological aspects with the tension of a great criminal drama to produce an unnerving but incredibly binge-worthy story. Fringe. Fringe is the greatest option for lovers of Stranger Things, who also enjoy a little mystery with their sci-fi. The Fringe Division is a joint federal task force founded by the FBI, and we follow their casework in Fringe. They look into cases involving fringe science, studying transhumanist experiments that have gone catastrophically wrong, or investigating the collision of parallel universes are 2 instances. Let me tell you, Fringe will make you into your own little agent. There's nothing quite like sitting on the couch and pretending to be one of the Fringe Division's agents, trying to figure out what's going on while watching the show. That, I feel, is what makes this show so appealing to Stranger Things fans. The mystery is thrilling to follow. Plus, who doesn't enjoy a good story set in a parallel universe? What are your thoughts on the shows we have suggested? Do you have additional shows you would like to suggest? Leave your answers in the comments down below.